ramblings, to learn, to know, to just give your opinion and run with it. And this, no, today we are talking about something that we all can relate to one way or another. And since Mother's Day is coming up, I decided special, let me talk about them. And we all have one way, because we do know circumstances can make us have, some of us have not experienced the biological mother's love, but there's someone in their life who played a role part of nurturing them and giving them mother's love, and also uh, help them in one way or another. Like we all know, it takes a village to raise a child, and how society, it depends with also from how home is or society will groom us to be the persons or person we are as adults. So I'm not leaving anyone, be it your mom, your biological mom, be it your stepmom who took that role and didn't become evil, and be it just a godmother or also a role model that you can talk about and think of them as a mother figure. Uh, Not always, well, everything has its good and its bad. We also know some mothers don't deserve that name, but there's somebody in your life that took that name and embraced it, and yeah, helped you out in every situation. Now, I don't know if there's a universal school where some things you just listen to somebody's uh, memory, and then you're like, "Ooh, that sounds like my mom," and yet they don't know each other or ever met. And it's funny. I know, like most African homes, or even let's be honest, in brown families, brown, black, and discipline, the discipline rule was mostly on moms. um Also, like the ones who talked a lot were moms, and in one way or another, some sayings you'll find everyone had them, and it goes with the age group also. You might find, yeah, the threats, like for us millennials, the threat that I can remember: I brought you in this world and I can take you out. That was a hard one. And you'll find most people will be like, yeah, 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 yeah. Also, my mom said that when she was like, "Hmm." And also, we had the stare when we in public, that stare that made you just keep quiet, sit still, and don't move. You just become like a statue or a gargoyle, like that. I remember when I was young, uh, when we used to go to church, because it was the capacity of the members of the church, the Catholic, it was the church was old. It was built during pre-colonial times. Now, because obviously population and also changing times, the church capacity was small, but the congregation was growing. Uh, and also population due to the movement and all that. Yeah. Now, we used to have the church pews where you sat, and Catholic, we have prayers. We get enjoyed that you need a lot. It's like a cardio in church, but at least ours is 1.5 hours. I don't know about the rest churches that stay the whole day, but anyway, I digress. Um, so if you had a child already active, a toddler going odds, uh, you'll have to sit because it was full. If your parent got a seat at the church instead of standing before going to Sunday school or catechism classes, you have to sit at the pew. So there's a seat and then the pew, the way we used to kneel, and it was hardwood. Or you'll find even the priest will announce all the kids to come and sit at the stairs along the pulpit. The design of Catholic Church is universal. So where the pulpit is and the stairwell there, because it was raised for view, easier view for those people in the back. So the stairwell is where the kids used to stand or sit down. And that's the only place you'll have freedom to play around in church. And also you'll not have the repercussion, not unless your mother has the view, can see what you're doing, or you make eye contact with them during mass. And after mass, maybe at going home, you have that what were you doing question. So yeah, you'll find kids all of a sudden they're quiet just because their mother is looking at them like, hmm. Yeah. So among that, we also have mothers who um, took upon themselves to teach children and also embrace them. Yes, in most homes, in African homes, not unless it was people from who are raised naturally from mothers who are raised in urban settings, you'll find them telling their kids, "Oh, I love you," or the lovey-dovey things. But some of us, because my mom was raised in the rural areas, that, well, I can say, yeah, she used to tell, in my memory, yeah, she used to tell me she loves me once in a while, once in a blue moon. And she, and mostly for us, Kwanzaa, because I'm a firstborn. She is also a firstborn from her mother. And this is the point. She used to face me up. The discipline was like, I, I cannot coddle you because I was never coddled. I was the firstborn, and when I was born, 1 year after, another one was born, 1.5 years another. So I had to grow up fast. So I'm like, she will say, I cannot coddle you. I was never coddled. And I had to grow up fast. So I'm not going to coddle you. You need to shape up. There are parents like that. Then you'll find maybe another parent who's strict. Somehow you'll find it somehow similar. And I don't know. I don't know if you experience this. For me and my brother, we have an age uh gap of 5.5 years. That's a long time. But you'll find my mom dressing us. She'll buy clothes that look alike. I don't know. Like sweaters, at least colors will differ, but still, yeah, I don't know why parents loved to dress up the way the same, even though ages are not even close. But hey, they did as much as they could with what they had, which I appreciate. And well, I've had people talking to me about maybe they lost their mom at very, very young age. This is one who said, we met at a youth seminar, and we met, and then he said, actually you behave like my mom. Can I make you my mom? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. I didn't know what that entails, but if you can be the home of another person, why not? It doesn't take any energy. It doesn't take a lot from you. It's just being kind to somebody. Now let's go to the bad side. Sometimes I've had stories of mothers being cruel to their child, and it saddens because at this age that I am in, I'm in the age of, yeah, friends who have gone to become in the family. Uh, they have their own children. Hi, Kenny. Welcome. Give us an experience about your mom. So you'll find either, but mostly I can say, when you hear those stories, you can ask yourself, like, um, is it because they had postnatal depression that was never treated or even noticed before, that maybe it acts much later or also early onset? And it's sad, um, because you might find families in destitute areas and destitute situations that they will use a child as a bargain chip. And also, we have heard of stories of women in drug addiction, not in the right sense of mind, but I do they regret it later on if they did that? I don't know. As much as we say fathers who abandon children, we have women who abandon phy- physically and emotionally, and you'll find that child growing with that trauma of rejection and abandonment, and it doesn't end well sometimes, unless the child becomes the switch of not pushing forth the heart they experienced. It happens. We all have seen it, experienced it, even in our own lives. What happened when you're young is not what you want to happen to somebody else's child or your own, and you say the buck stops here. And I don't know. The village also has to help support young mothers. Yeah, I get that some people or some young ladies get into family way much earlier because of one sad situation or the other, because that shouldn't happen. But, well, we live in a society that sometimes things happen that we cannot control, that we can control some others. But anyway, that said, that mm, took out of my energy, because I've had the stories and gives you fear. Oh, now comes to, hello, dark cookie forces. Okay. So yeah, moms have that universal. Have you noticed that sometimes you'll find something your mother has bought, nearly every mother has, especially shoes, if it's scarves, the same, like they're attracted to the same, or it's just the motherhood that makes them attracted to the same design. And also the designers, it's like they know their market and they tap into it. Or you'll find even hairstyles, you'll find just, you might go even a different location, and you find most of the women, it's like you're walking, you find in the hair it's still the same. You're like, okay, the saloonist must be popular with this one kind of hairstyle. I'm talking about mothers who nurture and nurture, um, be it your biological mothers and stepmothers who took up the role and did a fantastic job, and also godmothers, or a person you have a role model in your life that you see as a mother figure, since Mother's Day is just around the corner. So yeah, you'll find or even, like I say, the sayings, like, for the one example is that I brought you to this world, I can take you out. That's illegal, that's a death threat. Do they know that? Then there is Oh, in my mother tongue, there's this you'll find nearly in the same Kikuyu house that they're going to hit you so hard like a golf ball. Yeah, that happens. And sometimes the beating sounds like being beaten like a golf ball. But no matter how we saw it as a punishment back then, it really shaped us to the people, the kind of people we are in the society right now. Well, some people say now you can't do that because that's brutality and also child endangerment. Some of us experienced it, and well, we could not even report it. It's like the Madea movies. Of, you cannot even reach your telephone to call to dial the emergency line. Nowadays, yes, parenting has changed because of well, uh, how the society has changed. But sometimes uh, there's other times I just look at children doing tantrums in town or in public places, and you're like, ew, if it was my mother. But my mother, I don't know. Can everyone confirm? If you're a firstborn, were you beaten more than what your siblings ever experienced? Because for me, yes. Firstborns were, it's like uh, we were the test subjects if for, are we doing too much of punishment more than I can, or am I going too far? Anyway, I can I can conclude from my experience that I firstborns got the heaviest beating. My siblings, nah, maybe once in a while, but it was not that bad. I even we joke around with my mom right now, and I even ask her what was going on, and then true to her word, she does confess sometimes when first time parents, you've never been a parent ever before. Maybe you've taken care of your sibling, but that's a different entity than being a parent. And also sometimes the postnatal can come up and take over and you don't know, or also your own depression, maybe because of the situation in the marriage or family life, can also make it worse. Also work relations, or somebody in your ear. You've heard of women or people trying to make discords between parents and children. Like, I remember my mom used to stand, even though she doesn't, she would be suspicious out there. If somebody told you her that my daughter, your daughter did such and such and such, she'll be like, okay, act cool and collected, then come and confirm with me. Sometimes, not scolding, she'll just come and ask me, did you do such and such thing? If I say yes, if I did it, that is. And if I said no, then she'll be okay. Then I'll ask her, who told you? And then we know who's trying to do that. um I remember in primary school, if I'm a teacher, because I got a lot of trouble because maybe disagreements happened. I remember when I was in class 7, I used to have, okay, not just class 7, um, since time I remember, uh, because of cold spells and where we lived was super cold, I would get pneumonia frequently and bronchitis. So when I reached class 7, there was all remedial classes that happened on Saturdays, which was not compulsory. It was long ago, it was, but then later on it was diffused. But then PTA agreed on paying teachers. Then yeah. So we used to go to school on Saturdays, and there was a teacher who Her lessons, she said no one should miss, because sometimes parents didn't have that remedial money. Let's talk about it, economics and whatever. But still, this one insisted the remedial class, if it was her lesson that was supposed to learn, everyone should be in class. But I happened to fall sick on that time, so I didn't attend it. And then we were on Monday when we reported to school, because that weekend I was taken to hospital and given drugs and whatever. So on Monday, I had already gotten the doctor's letter to explain that I couldn't attend. But now I gave it to my class teacher. uh, since I gave it to her, she would give the message to the teacher who had their lesson that this is what happened. But she announced at the parade, at the school that parade where class 1 to class 8 was present, that oh yeah, they missed because mm, what was the word she was using, because they rebel, and they are okay, rebellious and nuisance, something of the sort. So we were requested the next day we should tell our parents to come and explain why we missed her lesson. We were about 7 from my class, and then other classes. We had 3 streams per class. So it was like every class to come and explain. And then it happened. There was another incident. I was slapped by another teacher because I sneezed during exams. Hmm. And people laughed. I have a funny sneeze. Then, you see, now it was like mm, things that I didn't do, but I was told I was doing. Anyway, so we went to school with my mom. So my mom, every parent was pissed, because why should I go to school and it's just remedial and I'm paying for the class. So, and I'm missing work that gets me money to pay for this remedial that you're complaining about. But anyway, we said they'll attend, they attended. So while we're in the principal's office, she brought about, now when it reached my time, why was I not in the remedial? And my mom said, we already had a doctor's letter, and she had submitted it to the class teacher. She has been sick. So because she could not get me on that technicality of missing class, she now brought back the issue of that I was rude to a teacher. And my mom was like, she was waiting for that. She was like, okay. Then she asked, what, how was she rude? Then they explained, oh yeah, she was dismissed from the exam room because she disrupted the examinations. And my mom disrupted how? She sneezed and people laughed. And then, oh, my daughter has been ill with pneumonia and she's sneezing and people laugh, and you blame her for people laughing from her body's reaction to the ailment she's suffering. Then she was like, no, 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 she banged the door, and everyone knew that door was broken. So, and then like I'm like, my mom said, I already know about that incident. Can I come with my can I report you because you had threatened my child in front of the school that you're going to expel her? That's what got that lady to keep quiet. And even the principal looked at her like, why are you bringing other issues? You are only about the remedial. So for advocacy, my mom will advocate for a child until when you cross her, that is. But yeah, you have to have the balance. But I also appreciate that she was not alone, that her friends also gave her backing um, whenever she couldn't uh, provide. She had the backing of ladies that I call them mothers up to date. I have a godmother who's still with us. My mom's sister and sisters. There's one sister, the one that this was born after 1 year after my mom was born. Yeah, she really, whenever my mom couldn't, and she'll tell her, she'll pick up and protect us. Um, it's sad that some mothers don't have that village or isolation, maybe from an abusive relationship, has cut them off from the village that will help them during the low times, and also be there to uplift them more during the high times. You know, it's crazy. Um, Nurturing and raising children, mostly in all societies in the world, mostly is left on women, unless like you can pinpoint some cultures that also celebrate the men being super involved and indulging in parenting. It's mostly the ladies that take care of the children. There's once we had of a culture where if the mother couldn't feed their child, there was fathers who were nursing. I don't know if it's confirmed. You can confirm it. Uh, they would produce milk. I don't know how, but anyway, I celebrate all mothers, and for those who are new mothers, you have to get your village to support you through thick and thin. It's good to have that, but also be wise and be cautious, because the village you choose is the family you choose. So in case anything goes wrong, that's on you. It's because the only family that we cannot choose is a biological. We find ourselves there. We didn't know how we got there, but we found ourselves there. So we didn't choose to be there. So yeah, celebrating all mothers, sending you all love. We appreciate you, and thank you for taking that baton to nurture and raise and love and support the children that you have. If it's your child, if it's your stepchild, if it's your godchild, do anyone call themselves godchild? Anyway, yeah, even if it's you being a role model or a teacher, thank you. For those who do it good. For those who go the other route, think think hard and do better. That's all I had for today. Bye 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 bye. Na na na.